Hello everyone. The first ever Jones Road sale is continuing, and so I have a couple more things that I wanted to show you. So the first thing is one of their holiday kits. So in my previous video I talked about the Pinky Bronze kit and I demonstrated that. And then in this video I want to demonstrate this other kit, which is called the Party Kit. And so this has 3 different items in it. It has a shimmer eyeshadow stick that is a special edition. So this is a preview of a product that apparently is going to be coming out later on next year. And then there is a special Miracle Balm shade, and there also is a special shade of their gel eyeliner. And I did purchase this in the darker version of it, which is called Rouge, because I wanted to see if these colors would work out on my own light skin. And so we will be taking a look at that. And then in addition, they have a kit that is called the Mini Lipstick Kit. And so this includes a mini lip pencil and a mini lipstick and also a lip gloss. And so that comes in 2 different shades. One is called Tawny Nude and the other one is Mauve. And so I do have a new lipstick in the shade of Tawny Nude, so I thought that I could show this to you. And in the Mauve one, I don't actually have the lipstick, but I do have the lip pencil. And so I will show you that one as well. And then also I have tried just about everything that Jones Road offers, and so I am really familiar with this brand. And so because they are having this big sale, I thought that I would briefly just go through all of the different products that they sell and let you know what I think of them and what the pros or the cons or who they might be the most appropriate for, so that if you are thinking about purchasing some things during the sale, that you can make some better decisions. And so first, a little bit of information about me. I am 61 years old, and I do have dry and very sensitive skin. And I started to become a little bit interested in makeup and skincare about 5 years ago, when I started to feel like maybe I could look a little bit fresher and a little bit younger as I moved towards my late 50s and early 60s. And that was right about the time that Jones Road was founded. And so I have been really looking to Bobbi Brown from this company for hints and suggestions on doing makeup during this stage in my life, and I do think that that has been super helpful to me. And so I am really familiar with this company, and I am a big fan of the company and of Bobbi Brown. And over time, I've experimented with really thousands of different makeup and skincare products. And one thing that I have found is that there are certain ingredients that always do irritate my sensitive skin. And I know that those ingredients tend to be very irritating for many other people as well. And so I just don't talk about products with those ingredients on this channel. And in addition, I have found recently that I am really better off if I tend to avoid entirely products that contain any kind of natural fragrances as well as synthetic fragrances. And so some of the Jones Road products do include some natural fragrances in those, and some of them are products that I do really like and that I do use on occasion, but I tend to use them fairly carefully, and I tend to limit them because I do have just this really sensitive skin. And before we get started, I just wanted to mention a couple of other things. First of all, if you do make a purchase from Jones Road, please do make absolutely sure that you are not mistakenly purchasing from a scam website. So Google, unfortunately, is promoting these scam websites as if they are sponsored content and they are making money on them. So that is something that Google really needs to fix, and hopefully soon. But in the meantime, just please do be careful not to buy from those websites. And the only websites that sell Jones Road products are their company website, which is jonesroadbeauty.com. And then if you are overseas, then you may also want to purchase from Liberty of London. And if you use the affiliate links that are in the description box or in the pinned comment, then you will be sure to get to the right site. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that I do have a Facebook group, which is called 40 Plus Beauty with Lisa Petrison. And so if you are on Facebook, then I hope you will join us in that group. And Jones Road also has a Facebook group, which is called JRB Roadies, and that is a very nice group also. So I would recommend joining that group as well. And in terms of the Jones Road sale, this sale is for everything on the entire Jones Road site, and everything is on sale for 10% off. If you meet a $50 threshold, then you can get everything on the site for 15% off, and if you hit $100 worth of products, then you can get everything for 20% off. There is a shipping charge, but if you buy $85 worth of product, then you can get free shipping. And the sale, to my understanding, is continuing until December 1st. And one thing that I found out is that, as in the past, Jones Road is going to be offering mini versions of all of their Miracle Balm shades. And so I think you will be able to pick and choose. And so that is going to start on November 21st at 8 a.m. And so let's talk about this party kit. So the party kit contains 3 products. So there is a mini Miracle Balm, and there is a shimmer eyeshadow stick, and then there is a gel eyeliner. And it comes in a box that is red and white with black lettering, and then it opens up like this. And all of the packaging here is silver, and it has black lettering on it. And I do think it's very festive looking. And so the items that are in this kit, first of all, there is an eyeshadow stick. And in the previous kit that Bobbi Brown had that is sold out, there was a matte eyeshadow stick. That is the Bobbi Kit 5.0. But in this kit, there's a shimmer eyeshadow stick. And so this, I think, is actually super pretty on my eyes. I am kind of excited about this. And apparently these eyeshadow sticks are going to be released as a regular line item from Jones Road at some point during 2026. And so this is a little bit of a preview of those. And then there is a special shade of the gel eyeliner. And so in the regular eyeliners, there is a brown shade and a black shade. And this shade is espresso, and so it's kind of like a brown-black shade. And I think that this is actually a good shade for me because it gives a little bit more drama without my actually going into a black shade, which is really a little too dark for me, in my opinion. And then there is a mini Miracle Balm, and I would say that compared to a couple of years ago when Jones Road was selling mini Miracle Balms, that these Miracle Balms are in somewhat better packaging. So this is a really lovely glass jar, and you can see the product through the jar, and so you can see the color. And then the lid on this, it's plastic, but this is a silver color with black lettering. And I think that it's much nicer because it is a wider jar, and so it is a lot easier for me to put my finger into here and kind of dig into there and get the product out of it. And I think there may be more product in this jar than before also. And so another good thing about these mini Miracle Balms is that when you finish them up, they may be appropriate to put some more of the Miracle Balm that you may have purchased in a larger container, and so that can be a really good thing for travel. And there are 2 different versions of these party kits. So the first one is called Party, and this one has a Miracle Balm that is in a shade called Party, which is medium pink with subtle gold shimmer for fair to medium skin tones. And it has an eyeshadow stick in Cool Taupe with multi-dimensional shimmer. And then both of these kits have a gel eyeliner that is in espresso. And so I decided actually to go out on a limb and to try the darker shade just to see if it would work for me, because I was kind of attracted to these cranberry colors that are in it. And so the mini Miracle Balm is described as Rouge, which is a rosy berry with subtle gold shimmer for light to deep skin tones. And then the eyeshadow stick in this one is brown, and it is described as a cool brown with multi-dimensional shimmer. And then again, this one has the gel eyeliner in espresso. And so a little bit ago, I shot some footage of me putting on this kit in the context of a quick 5-minute makeup look. So Bobbi Brown specifically said that for this kit, she wanted to show that you didn't have to be wearing foundation or a lot of makeup in order to have a sort of a holiday look. And so I thought that I would give that a try. And so the only basic products that I'm putting on are the ones that I use pretty much every day. And these are from Jones Road. So I start out by putting on a little bit of their eye cream just to prepare my skin for their face pencils, just to give it a little bit of moisture and slip. And then I put on their neutralizer pencil under my eyes just to take away a little bit of the dark circles. And I have a pencil that for the rest of my face that is in the shade 5. And so I put this on all of the areas of my face that looked like they were a little bit red or that they needed a little bit of help. And I don't know that you really need an eye primer in order to wear this eyeshadow stick, but I thought that I would put on a little bit anyway just to cover over the darkness and other kinds of issues on my eyes. And so I'm just using the Sarah Creel Face Flex Concealer, which I think has been a really good eyelid primer for me. And in terms of this eyeshadow stick, I do think that this is really pretty. Some people have said that they don't think, at least the matte ones, really stayed on their eyes as well as they wanted. They felt like it was not waterproof enough for them. But I feel like for me, it actually has lasted for most of the day and held up really well. If I scribble it on my hand and then I wash my hand with soap and water, it does seem to dissipate for the most part. But I feel like my eyelids are not all that oily and I'm not usually putting eyeshadow under a lot of stress. And I think that both the shimmer version and the matte one that I got before, that both of those have been holding up pretty well on my eyes. And they do look really pretty. And I think that especially this brown shimmery shade has been very nice. It is described as a cool brown, and what I would say is that I am even seeing just a little tiny bit of a lean towards green in it. Maybe not everyone will see that, but that's the kind of brown that I think it is. And so I really like that kind of brown, at least with my eyes. So I was really kind of happy about that, but not everyone may agree with me on that. And I do feel like with this particular eyeshadow stick that I was able to put a thinner layer over the entire lid of my eyes, and then I was able to go in and put a little bit more of a thicker layer right along my lash line and then underneath my eyes just to give my eyes a little bit more dimension. So even if I wasn't going to be using the gel eyeliner, I still think that you can get a very nice and kind of dimensional look with regard to this eyeshadow stick. But I do have this gel eyeliner in the shade Espresso, and so I wanted to put this on. And I know that they have a eyeliner brush that is called the Precision Eyeliner Brush, and it has a little slanted tip, and it is very, very small. And I thought maybe I had that, but I'm not able to find that. And yesterday when I put on the gel eyeliner in the brown shade, I just used my eyebrow brush, and this has a slant tip, but I think that the brush is a little bit thicker. And I thought that it worked really well with the regular brown shade, but when I put it on with this gel eyeliner in the Espresso shade, it is going on a little bit dark because it is a darker color. So I think that I would rather use a small brush with this one, and that Precision Eyeliner brush, at the moment it seems to be out of stock on the Jones Road site, but I do want to buy that when it comes back into stock. And in the meantime, I think that this is kind of a dramatic look that I'm creating with this brush, but I think that it was doable. And again, I think that if I weren't using this dramatic of a shade, it actually looked nice yesterday when I used the regular brown. And what I will say is that this eyeliner is not something that I have used for a while, but when I have gone back and I used the brown, which I purchased last year, and now that I'm using this Espresso, I really am very impressed with this gel eyeliner. And I think that compared to many of the eyeliner pencils that I have, this actually goes on really, really easily. I don't feel like it takes more time, and I think that it gives a really pretty look. And it hasn't been irritating for my eyes at all. And it holds up well also. I think that when I've gone out in the rain or sweating, that it actually held up really well on my eyes. And so I think that this is a product that is actually worth giving a try to, even though a lot of people are a little bit afraid of gel eyeliners or eyeliners that come in pots. And then I have the Miracle Balm, and the Miracle Balm is supposed to be for use on the cheeks and on the lips. And this is called Rouge, but I think it's more like a cranberry shade or some kind of a berry type of a shade, which I thought would be kind of festive for the holidays. And my skin is really fair, and they are saying that this is for light skin to deep skin, but I think it worked out okay. I think that maybe I would have been a little bit better with the pink shade on my skin tone, but I think that it's actually quite pretty. And I tend not to use the Miracle Balm as my only lip product, but I don't think it looked bad when I did that in the picture. And what I will say is that because this is enough of a blush that I don't need to use a blush, that does really streamline the products that I'm using on my face. Because if I can pull off a whole look with just my eyebrows and a little bit of face pencil, and then these three products, that is really, really fast. And I do think that I kind of got away with it with these particular three products. And then let's talk about the lipsticks. And so as I say, they do have a lip kit. And so this has 3 mini lipstick items in it. It has a mini lip pencil, it has a mini classic lipstick, and it has a mini cool gloss. And so the lipstick and the lip pencil, there's 2 different versions. One is tawny nude, and then the other one is mauve. And then both of these have a special edition of the lip gloss. And so this is called Pink Lilac, and I did get this Pink Lilac in a different kit. And so it is a pretty pink shade that I think could look good on anyone as a lip topper, and it has just a little tiny bit of a shimmer in it. And so I'll put a little bit of this on now over the lipstick that I'm wearing, and the lipstick that I'm wearing right now is called Wine. And so in terms of these lipstick shades, there are 12 different shades, and 4 of them are bright colors. So there is a pretty bright pink, there is a bluish red, there is a bright orange, and also there's this wine color, which is what I'm wearing today. And I haven't tried any of the bright colors except for the wine yet. And then all of the rest of the shades seem to be leaning into more being nudes. And so they all seem to be leaning to some extent into being pinky, browny type shades. And I think that it more seems to be the case that you are going to be choosing the shade that you like more based on the skin tone that you have and on your coloring, rather than thinking that all of these shades might be appropriate for you in terms of going with different clothing. And so far I only have 4 of the lipsticks, but I also have 4 of these lip pencils, and so I do have a variety of different shades, and the lip pencils are supposed to be the same shade as the lipsticks. And so you can take a look at the different shades that I have so far, and I am swatching these in natural light, and so I think that you can see that there's a little bit of a difference, but really, even when I am in bright sunlight, these do look fairly similar to one another. So I don't necessarily think that you are going to have to feel like you can get all of the different shades and that it's going to make a big difference for you. A lot of these are pretty similar to one another, and they really just are more appropriate for people based on what coloring they have. And so it seems that the lip kits are really designed to be really understated and muted kind of colors. And so if you have lighter skin tone, then they are suggesting that the mauve shade might be good for you. And if you have darker skin coloring, then they're thinking that the tawny nude shade might be appropriate. I actually like the way that the tawny nude shade looks on me, and so I do intend to wear that one, and I'll probably wear it more than the mauve shade. And I personally do have very finicky lips, and I am very enthusiastic with regard to the new classic lipsticks. I do think that they work really well on my lips. They haven't been irritating at all. They do stay on my lips, and they don't tend to feather outside of the lip lines, and they feel comfortable, and there is some hydration in them, so they're not a really expensive lipstick, and especially if you can get them on sale, then they're an even better price, and they don't have a lot of peptides in them, and I think that the colors are not quite as unique as some of the colors from other brands. But in terms of being a really good everyday lipstick, I do think that these are quite good, and so I am impressed by that. And the lip pencils, again, are designed to be exactly the same colors as the lipsticks. And I have been doing okay with these lip pencils. I haven't found them to be irritating. I don't think that they are as impressive as, for instance, the Westman Atelier lip pencils, but they are not as expensive as those Westman Atelier lip pencils either. And especially if you can find a lipstick shade in the Jones Road product, then I think that the lip pencils can be nice in terms of adding to the look and making it look a little bit more polished. But at least for me, I haven't found it necessary to use a lip pencil with these lipsticks. I think they actually look really nice when I just throw them on my lips. And the Cool Glosses, I really do like the way that these taste. They have quite a lot of peppermint in them, and they have a little bit of menthol. Unfortunately, if I wear them very often, I do think that they're hard on my lips. Typically, if people have sensitive lips, a lot of times they really can't tolerate menthol very well. And so if it weren't for that menthol, I would wear these a lot because I do really like them. And as it is, I feel like they're more of like a special treat lip gloss for me. And I think that this color of the pink lilac, that is a really good versatile shade that you can really wear over any lipstick that you might be wearing, and it just gives a tiny little bit of a shimmer and not enough color to really change the color of the lipstick. And so the mini lip kit is $44 before the discount. And the party kit is $52 before the discount. And I think that that is a pretty good deal for those three products, especially. And so now I will talk about all of the products that Jones Road offers individually and just give you a brief lowdown on each of those products. In terms of the sets, in my previous video that I released just a couple of days ago, I talked about the holiday sets. And then in the video before that, I talked about all of the rest of the sets that they have. So if you are interested in sets, then you might take a look at those videos. And I also do have a long playlist of different videos where I've talked about different products from Jones Road in depth. And so if you are especially interested in a particular product and you would like to see it swatched, for instance, or you would like to get some more information on it, then you might want to go back and take a look at one of those older videos. And so for the product discussions, I will separate them into categories. And so let's start first with complexion products, and I will start with the ones that are supposed to be the best-selling products and then work our way down. So the one that they list that is their best-selling complexion product is the infamous What the Foundation, and this is $46. It comes in 16 shades, and it is a product that comes in a pot like this, and it is a product that is quite oily. So it has a number of different oils in it, including jojoba oil, sunflower seed oil, coconut oil derivatives, olive oil, castor oil, and sodium hyaluronate. And so these are oils that I think would have the potential of going rancid fairly quickly. And so for that reason, they put in a number of essential oils, specifically rose geranium oil and ginger root oil. And I think that's the main reason that they put that in there as a preservative. Which is fine, except that for some people, like me, for instance, those oils do tend to be a bit irritating, and then some people also don't like the smell. And this product does have quite a strong smell to it. So it has kind of an herbal smell to it, and so if you don't mind those kinds of smells, then some people like it, but other people do object to the smell as well as the potential that it might cause irritation. Now for me, I actually have a tiny little bit of a love-hate relationship with this product because I think that really compared to any foundation that I've ever purchased, this one is really terrific in terms of how it makes me look. I think that it gives a softness and a kind of a fullness to my face that makes me look probably 5 years younger. I really think that that is the case when I put this on. I think that as you get older that you lose a lot of fat volume on your face, and that this kind of simulates that kind of a youthful plumpness to my face that I really kind of enjoy. And so that it makes me want to wear it, but on the other hand, it does have these essential oils in it that do cause irritation. I have found that if I use a good primer under it, that I can reduce at least the amount of irritation that I get from it. And so I think that actually the Jones Road tinted moisturizer works as a good primer for me, and the Ilia base face milk works fairly well, and even the Jones Road oil free moisturizer can help a bit. But in general, I only wear this occasionally. If I'm going to get actual professional pictures taken, I really kind of want to wear this because I do feel like it helps a lot in the pictures, but I think it helps a lot in everyday life also. Now, I do think that it probably, if you are under 40, and especially if you have oilier skin, this product probably will not be one that you will like very much. Some people do like it, but an awfully lot of people that have younger skin like that find this to be inappropriate for them. I think that in order to appreciate it, most people that really like it are going to probably be in their 50s, I would think. And then we have the face pencils and also the neutralizer pencils, and these are priced at $28. For the face pencils, there are 25 shades, and so the shade that I use is shade number 5, and this is described as a cool, fair shade. And so I don't feel like my skin is really all that cool, but this one definitely was the best one for me. And so I would say that these may run a little bit warm, at least when it comes to the lighter shades. I don't know about the darker ones. And then I also have a neutralizer pencil from them. I actually have all of their lighter shades of the neutralizer pencils. And there are 9 different shades of these, and this is the same price. They're $28. And these are primarily designed to be used underneath the eyes as a way to make your dark circles not look as problematic. And so the shade that I usually use in this one is the light peach shade, but there are a bunch of different shades. And this product, I think, is really easy to use, and it's something that I can just scribble on to my face on the areas that really just need a little bit of help. And then I just blend it out, usually with my fingers, and then I will go over quickly with the brush. And so it is very fast, and I feel like, especially on my own mature and skin that is starting to show some wrinkling, that this actually works really well. Now, I do think that you need to put it on over a good moisturizer, or in my case, what I mostly have been doing is using the eye cream, which I will mention in a few minutes. And I do think that if I put it on over the eye cream, that it goes on really smoothly and it blends in really easily. But especially in the winter, if I put it on and I don't have a moisturizer, especially that eye cream down, that it is very dry and it is hard to blend. So that part of it is really important. And then we have the Jones Road Just Enough Tinted Moisturizer. This one was released this year, and it comes in 16 shades. It comes in the same shades as the foundation, and it is priced at $44. And this is really one of the products that has been released by any company that I think may be the best product of the year. So I'm going to have to go through and make sure that that is what I think in terms of comparing it to everything else that everybody else has released. But I really am very, very impressed with this product. And part of the reason that I'm so impressed with it is that I have heard of a lot of people, both in terms of reviewers and also in terms of users, who have tried this product, and I have yet to come across anyone that hasn't been really enthusiastic about it. So even though I think that they are promoting this a lot to people with younger skin and who have oilier skin, I actually think that it works really, really well on my own skin, which is dry, and even during the winter, I think it's very, very nice. And it goes on really easily, and I think that it is fairly reasonably priced. And when I've compared it to other really expensive foundations, such as the Chantecaille gel foundation, I think that this one actually looks just as good on my skin, and it goes on just as easily, and it has a lot of shades that I think that most people should be able to get a pretty good match. And it holds up really well. It doesn't have any fragrance in it. It doesn't have anything in it that I've found to be irritating, and I think it is really good for my skin. And so I do think that if you haven't tried this particular foundation so far, that this could be a good time to pick it up, because I am really, really impressed with it. And then we'll talk about the face powders. And so these are $30 and they come in 8 different shades. And so the shades that they offer, there's one that's translucent. There are 2 that are pink. So one is this lighter pink color, and then there is one that is a darker pink color that is for a richer skin. And then there also is one that is a yellow color, and this is a kind of a lemon yellow. And then there are 4 that are for the same color as skin tones, so light, medium, and dark. And the thing that's a little bit surprising about this line is that it is a very oil-absorbing powder. And so cornstarch is the first ingredient, and cornstarch does tend to absorb a lot of oil. And I think that the reason that they introduced this is because it works really well with the What the Foundation. So if you just put that What the Foundation on your skin and you don't use either a powder over it or a setting spray over it, then it is going to feel very uncomfortable. And it's very sticky and it's very oily and it will never dry down. And my own feeling is that if I'm going to use the What the Foundation, I would use this setting mist by Makeup by Mary over it, or there's also one from NARS that I like quite a bit. And I think that that helps a lot. But I also do think that if you use a powder like this that absorbs a lot of oil on the top of it and you put just a little dusting on top of it, that can make it also wearable. Now, I also use this powder sometimes during the summer months, and so this is a powder that if my skin is not really dry and if it is going to be sweating, that this can be a little bit helpful. And I think it works a little bit better just as a general purpose powder than I would anticipate considering how much cornstarch it has in it. But really, I wouldn't probably use this for a lot of different purposes unless I'm really planning to suck up a lot of oil. And I can use a very small amount of it, but nonetheless, I tend to think of this more as an oil-absorbing powder. Now, in terms of these colors, I actually do really like this pink powder. This was, I think, the first pink powder that I tried, and my feeling is that if I put this just very lightly on my skin, that it simulates the look of my having a little bit more blood flow, and so without looking like I've got a lot of blush on, it just gives me a more healthy look. The yellow powder seems to be more if your skin is reddish and you would like to tone it down a little bit, then the yellow powder may be helpful in doing that. And then the other powders are really just meant to match your skin tone. So all in all, I do think that this is a good product, and I think that if you're going to use a product like What the Foundation, that this would be a really good addition to that order. And in general, I think this is a pretty good product from Jones Road. I like it. And then now let's talk about the Miracle Balms. And so this is the hero product from Jones Road. And so a lot of people do know about this product and they are attracted to Jones Road because of this product. And I do think that there's really nothing on the market that is almost even remotely close to it. And so this is a product that is mostly available in this size container. So it's quite a large container, and you can dig your fingers into it, and then you can use it pretty liberally on the face. It doesn't have a lot of color to them in terms of most of the shades, and it's mostly designed to give your face a lot of moisture and a lot of glassiness to it that I think, especially for people as they get older, looks really, really pretty. And I do think that this product, when I put it on my face, that it does give my face a lot of youthfulness and and also some blurring because it is kind of a thicker product. And so when it goes on the skin, it's sort of like putting Vaseline on your camera filter, and it just looks a little bit prettier and a little bit more blurred. Now, as with the What the Foundation, these products do have a lot of essential oils in them, and so that does limit them a bit for me. I think that these are even more difficult because they have more essential oils in them. So in addition to the rose geranium oil and the ginger root oil, they also have grapefruit oil and also orange oil. And so I do feel like if I put this directly on my skin, that it does cause a bit of irritation and itching, and that it's not something that I would want to wear very often on its own for that reason. I do feel like if I put them on top of a good primer, that can be helpful. And in particular, I think that these work well with the Just Enough Tinted Moisturizer, and that if I put that down first, I can often just put these on top of that, and that they do work really well together for me. And both of those products have their own function, and the Just Enough Tinted Moisturizer really does work well for me as a primer with these other products. Now, for most of the year, these products are only for sale individually in these large containers, and so this is $40. You can usually get at least one or two of the additional shades in mini containers in the kits. And so those are usually limited edition shades. And then a couple of times a year, they will have all of the shades available as mini Miracle Balms as a special edition. So you can purchase a couple of them and pick your shades. And so the last time I think that happened was Memorial Day. And then in a couple of days from now, on November 21st, they are going to be having a sale like that also. And so again, this is kind of a sticky product, and so what I would mostly suggest with this one is not to use too much of it and to put on just a very small amount of it as a sort of a glassy highlighter, and then to work up. You will get your hair stuck to it potentially if you use too much of it, so just be a little bit careful with that. Now, another product for the cheeks that is quite a bit different are their lip and cheek sticks. And these are $36, and I think there are maybe 8 shades. And so, for instance, this is a shade that is one of my favorites, which is called Chocolate Mocha. And I was kind of afraid of this, but it actually turns out to be kind of a lovely bronzy terracotta type shade on me. And I have really enjoyed these lip and cheek sticks. Now, the good thing about them for me is that they do not have any kind of a fragrance in them. They don't have any kind of essential oils or any other kind of a scent to them. And I think that in terms of their performance, they do perform really well on both the cheeks and on the lips. I'm not sure that it's a great idea to use them on the lips, though, if I'm going to be keeping them for a while, because I did have one that after about a year or so, I do think that it started to grow some kind of a mold or something like that on it. And so I don't think these have a terrible lot of preservatives in them, but in terms of their performance, I think that they are really lovely. And I think that they're really quite pretty on the cheeks. And of lip products that are designed for the lips and the cheeks, I think this is one of the very few that I am willing to use on both my cheeks and my lips. And then next they have a line of powder bronzers, and there are 8 different shades, and they are $38 each. And what I want to say first is that these are absolutely not designed for contouring, and Bobbi Brown's very strongly does not believe in contouring, and so she is not offering a product like that. And so what you are really supposed to be doing with this is either using it sort of diffusely on your face in general, or I think more specifically on your cheekbones, just to give yourself a little bit of a look of having a tan on the spots on your face that are most likely to be getting the sun. But I wouldn't try to use any of these as a contour at all. And so I will show you the 3 lightest shades of these 8 different bronzers. So the first one is a shade that is called Dusty Rose. And a lot of people think that this looks more like a blush than a bronzer. And so therefore, if you have really, really light skin, that this can be what your skin would look like if you were to get some sun. And it also can be a really muted type of a blush for people with many different sort of light skin tones. And I do like the way that this one looks on me a lot. And then the second one is called Light Tan, and this one is quite reddish. So when I use this one on my skin, it actually looks like I have a bit of a sunburn, but kind of attractive. And so I don't use this one real diffusely on my face, but I do think it is pretty in a sunburn type way. And then the third one is just called Tan, and this one actually leans quite a bit yellow. You can even see how it looks on compared to my skin tone. I think it is much too yellow for me, but if you have skin that is on the golden side, then this one could be a good one for you. And then the fourth one is called Medium Tan, and that is basically like light tan, but it's a bit darker, so it's definitely reddish. Now, in the new kit, the Pinky Bronze kit, there is a bronzer, and that is a shimmery bronzer, and I did demonstrate that in my last video. And that one is not really the same color as any of these matte bronzers. It is a much different shade, and I think it would be nice if they were to introduce in their regular line that Pinky Bronze color, but without quite so much shimmer in it. I would definitely buy that right away. Now, what I will say about these is that these are quite dry. So cornstarch in these are the second ingredient, and I think that compared to many other bronzers that I have, these do go on the skin fairly dry, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I do feel like I want to put something over the top of it, like the Miracle Balm, in order to give some of that moisture look back to my skin. And the other thing that I will say about these is that they are kind of fragile, and so they do have the potential to break, so I wouldn't just throw them in a makeup bag or take them on a trip because I think that they very well might break. And these are not terribly expensive, but on the other hand, I do feel like there is the potential to use them up. So usually I don't pan things, but I did end up getting to the bottom of this reddish color one. And so I would say that the main reason to consider these bronzers is if you like these shades. And so if you're looking for a really muted pink color, then the Dusty Rose one might be good. And if you're looking for a reddish bronzer that will give you a bit of a sun-burned type look, then the light tan or the medium tan could be really good. And then next we have a product that is called the Shimmer Face Oil. That is $36. There are 4 different shades, and the one that I have tried is their pinky type shade. And this has a number of oils in it that I think are really high quality and good for the skin, but they are on the fragile side in terms of how likely they are to go rancid. And so these include sunflower oil, coconut oil, jojoba oil, tsubaki oil, almond oil, pomegranate oil, grapeseed oil, and raspberry seed oil. And so because of that, I think that that is the reason that they do put a lot of citrus oils in it. So they list orange peel oil and grapefruit peel oil. And my feeling about this one is that that is why it did irritate my skin almost immediately. And it also lists some natural processed fragrances on there, and I don't know if those are just coming from the essential oils or not. And it also lists a sorbal palmitate in it, which I think is like a vitamin C type of an ingredient that may or may not be irritating. So in general, I think that this could be really good for the skin, but the fact that it does have all those essential oils in it makes it a no-go for me. It is only mildly shimmery, and it does give kind of a oily, glassy look on the skin. So if I could wear it, I would be really interested in wearing it, but this one is one that I've decided that it's probably just not worth it for me to mess around with it. And then they also have a powder blush, and these blushes are in very, very tiny little containers. And they are $30, and there are 5 different shades. So the shades are rosy pink, tawny pink, peachy pink, berry pink, and POP, which is this one. And this is a bright pink with a little bit of shimmer in it, so it's called Pop of Pink or Pop. And my feeling about these is that they are fine, and especially this one, which is sandy. I do kind of like this tawny pink type shade. In general, I don't think that they are as good as some of the powder blushes that have come out since then. I'm especially enthusiastic, for instance, about the Westman Atelier one. And in general, I also am a big fan of the RMS blushes, which all have quite a bit of shimmer in them. And I think that in comparison, these are pretty basic little blushes. And so I have used them on occasion, and I think that they are perfectly fine. But in terms of comparing them to more expensive blushes, I don't know if that's really the best thing to be doing. And I do think there's a potential for these to break pretty easily, like the other powder products from Jones Road. And then a couple of years ago, Jones Road came out with a line of gel bronzers, and the reason that was the inspiration for this is because Bobby Brown's father, who was in his 90s, had used bronzer in a gel form for like 30 or 40 years, and so Bobby decided to create her own version. So there are 3 different shades, and the light one is kind of the typical bronzing color, and then the medium one has a little bit of reddishness in it, and then there is a dark shade. And these are $36. And since Jones Road came out with this product a couple years ago, since then there have been a whole lot of other bronzers that have come out in terms of gel form or liquid form. And I still think that this Jones Road one is quite good. I also am liking very much the Westman Atelier gel bronzer, which is a bit more expensive, but I think that's a very good product also. But otherwise, compared to the bronzers that are on the market, I think that these Jones Road ones are quite good. I wouldn't probably suggest wearing it over a foundation, especially not over like a silicone foundation. People that have done that have not reported really great things about them. I think that for me, this is a product that I really just wear when it is summer and when I want to add a little bit of color to my face, but that I'm not really wearing much other makeup at all. And I think that for that purpose, this is a very nice product, and it feels good on my skin, and it doesn't have any kind of fragrances or irritating ingredients in it, and I do think it looks totally natural. And I certainly think that a guy could wear this and no one would think that he was wearing makeup. And then in terms of eye products, by far their most popular product is their mascara. And so Bobbi Brown was really determined she was going to make a cleaner mascara that was really dark and really rich and that didn't have any problematic ingredients in it. And even though a lot of her makeup is very natural looking, the mascara is actually really dramatic. And it has a wand that is quite large in terms of it looking almost like a caterpillar, and it does create a fairly dense look to the eyelashes. My feeling about this one is that this was released as one of their first products, I think, so this is 5 years old, and that since then I think there have been a lot of mascaras that have come out that I like better. In terms of not being irritating, I think this one is sort of tolerable for me, but it's just a little bit irritating, and so therefore I would prefer not to have any products that I'm using be irritating at all. And it's also creating a pretty dense, dark lash that I think is not as natural as I would prefer. But it does go on really easily. I don't think it smudges. It does stay on the lashes. And so if you're really a person that's looking for a kind of a dramatic lash look, a lot of people that are looking for that really, really like this mascara and think it's their favorite. And the mascara is $28, so it's not terribly unreasonably priced. And then they have a line of powder eyeshadows, and these seem to be really designed just as one-and-done eyeshadows because they are sold only individually in little containers with a mirror in it, and you can't mix and match them into any kind of a palette. And there are 16 different shades, so 8 of them are mattes and 8 of them are shimmers, and they are $26 each. And I feel like in terms of the quality of the shadow, I think it's really a very nice shadow in terms of how it looks on my eyes, in terms of the blendability. So I think that if you're looking for a one-and-done shadow and they are making one that you think is a good color for you, then I think that these have a real potential. But I think it's a little bit frustrating for a lot of people if they want to use more than one shadow that there is nothing like that. And I think it could be nice if they were to create a little palette out of these, and they've done that a couple of times for the holidays with some of their really neutral shades. But I think that some of these shades you could combine them together and make a really cute little palette. So the one that I like the most is in the shade called Patina, or I guess Americans might pronounce it as Patina. And this one is a shimmery shade that is just a little tiny bit green, and it's kind of a greeny, taupey, slightly gray type of a shade that I find to be really attractive. And I also like this one, which is a copper shade. But again, with these eyeshadows, you have to be really careful and baby them, because if you just put them in your makeup bag and it bangs into anything, they will shatter pretty easily. And so I wouldn't want to bring them on a trip, and I think that you should put them in a drawer and be really careful when you take them out. And then we have what I think is by far the most used makeup product that I have ever owned. And so this is the Jones Road Brow Pencil. And I have this in the shade Ash, which I think is designed largely to work with graying hair. And so it is kind of on the cool side. And in total, they have 6 different shades, including one that is a gray color that is designed for darker hair that is going gray. And these are $24. And the reason that I like this is because it has little fibers in the pencil, and so therefore when I scribble it on my brows, it really looks like it's adding texture to my brows and it's not just being drawn on like a crayon. And so I feel like I can spend 10-15 seconds per brow and give a really passable look to my brows. And so I talk about these all the time on this site, and every time I place an order from Jones Road recently, I have purchased an extra one of these just because I do feel like eventually I'm going to use them up. And I have tried many other brow pencils, and there really is nothing else like this remotely on the market, so I am a real fan of these. And I think that if you really don't have any brows at all, this is probably the only option that's going to work for you very well, in my opinion. And in the same shades, they have a brow gel. And I think this brow gel is pretty good. At certain points, I think that this brow gel is my favorite because I feel like sometimes it can take all the little peach fuzz hairs that I have in my brow area and make them look like they are real hairs. And so that can be really helpful in terms of creating a look that does have more texture to it. I feel like sometimes in its life cycle it works better than others, and if it's too wet it doesn't work quite as easily, and if it starts to get more dry it doesn't work quite as easily. But when I can hit that sweet spot, I think that even compared to other brow products that I like, such as the Kosas Brow Gel or the Jane Iredale Brow Gel, that this one's actually quite good. And then they have a line of just plain old-fashioned eye pencils. And so these come in a limited number of shades. So the shades that they have currently on the website are black, brown, a black with a silver shimmer, this shade, which is Ivy, which is emerald green with a shimmer, violet, and navy. And then occasionally they will have a limited edition release also. And so the issue that I had with this at first was that the original versions had cottonseed oil in them, and I did feel like that was irritating my eyes. Cottonseed oil typically has a lot of pesticides in it. But in the more recent things that I've gotten, like the limited edition ones, they seem to have removed the cottonseed oil. And so I think that they are gradually doing that with all of the pencils. So I'm feeling a little more enthusiastic about them. I don't think that it compares to some of my favorite eye pencils that are out there. So for instance, I just got this one from Sarah Creel, and I have tried 2 of these and I've really, really liked them. And I think there are certain other eye pencils out there, like the Makeup by Mario ones, for instance, that I've liked better. But I think this is a perfectly serviceable eye pencil, and it's not terribly expensive. It's $24, and so especially if you can get it on sale, this is a pretty reasonable price, and some of these colors are very pretty. And then they also have a line of eyeshadows that are called Just a Sec. And so these are little sort of cream to powder eyeshadows that come in a little pot like this. And they are $28 each. And they have 8 shades of these. And so they're all kind of shimmery. And they are something that you can just stick your finger in here and then just push it on your eyes and blend it very briefly, and then that's it. And so it does provide a slight wash of color. It's not a lot of color. It's nothing dramatic, but I think that compared to a lot of other similar products that are out there, like the ones from Westman Atelier, I think these are quite easy to use, and they are not all that expensive. And I do think that they are very pretty. And there is a new one that is in that pinky bronze shade that is in the pinky bronze kit, and I did like that one. But in general, I've liked all the ones that I've used. And I think especially if you're not very comfortable putting a lot of products on your eyes and you want to just do it really, really fast, that this is a good product for that. And I don't feel like I need to put down a eye primer or concealer or anything on top of my eyelids to put this down, and so that is a real plus. And then the Sparkle Wash is a liquid eyeshadow that is a little bit similar, for instance, to the product that I've been trying out from Chantecaille, which is new this year, or certain other shimmery eyeshadows that are really just putting sparkle on top of the eyes. And when they first released this 5 years ago or so, I found this to be irritating for me, but they seem to have totally reformulated it based on what I've seen of the ingredient list on this new one that I purchased, and I think that it's a lot better now, and it's really not irritating my eyes at all. And it does hold up pretty well on the eyes, so better than probably some of the other products that they are offering because it is in liquid form. And I think this is a nice product, and it is $26, and there are 5 different shades. And then in terms of the classic lipsticks, I talked about those earlier. They are $30, so I think this is a reasonably priced lipstick, and they have 4 different shades that are brights, and then the rest of them are kind of neutrals that are sort of meant to be an everyday lipstick that doesn't look like real dramatic and that looks like it could be the color of your lips, but that does give a more finished look. And I think this is a really nice product. And then the lip pencils are designed to go with the lipsticks, so they are exactly the same shades. So if you want to wear a lipstick liner that matches your lipstick, this is a good product to pick up. And they do not have any cottonseed oil in them, and I feel like they are okay for my lips. And there are some lip liners that I like better, but I think that these are quite nice. And then there's a line of lippy sticks, and there are 12 different shades of these, and they come in little metal tubes, and they are $24. And I like the way that these look on my lips, and they are moisturizing, but they do have a number of ingredients in them that have the potential to go rancid, including castor oil and sunflower oil, and then there's also jojoba oil, coconut oil, and cocoa butter. And so they did put a bunch of different essential oils in here, including orange oil, spearmint oil, lavender oils, and then it also lists linalool, limonene, and citral. I don't know if those are in the essential oils or if they are added in addition to that. But in any case, I did like the way that these feel on my lips. I like the way that they look, but if I wear them more than a few times, then my lips start to get in really, really bad shape. So apparently whatever is in this, my lips do not like it at all. So I haven't been able to wear them, but if ingredients that are natural scent ingredients don't bother you, then I think that these could be good. And by the way, these do have phenoxyethanol in them, and that is another preservative, and so some people don't really like that in lip products as well. And the Cool Gloss, as I mentioned, this does have peppermint oil and menthol in it, and so this is a product that I can only really wear rarely, even though I really like the taste of it, because menthol does tend to be hard on people's lips in general, I think. And I see that there are 9 shades, and that sometimes they have limited edition shades in these kits as well. And so in the Pinky Bronze kit, for instance, you can get one that is Pinky Bronze. And then in terms of skincare, most of the Jones Road products do have some kind of a fragrance in them, either unspecified fragrance that may include some synthetics, or else it has essential oils in it. And so that is problematic for me, but there are a few products that I do really like. And so I do really like the eye cream, and these do not have any fragrance of any kind in them. There is a regular eye cream, and then there's also a rich eye cream that has a little bit more oil in it that I use more during the winter months. And I think that these are really unusual because I think that they are more designed for day use, and I think that they are designed for use under the face pencils. So even the rich one is not all that greasy, and it doesn't have any ingredients in it like peptides or caffeine or bakuchiol, stuff like that. But in terms of working under the face pencils, I do think that these are terrific and worth buying. One other thing that I will say about these eye creams is that if you want to take some of the foundation, or you want to take some Miracle Balm and you want to put it in a little container, this is a really good container to put it in. And so if you have an eye cream like this, then don't throw away the container. I think you can get some more use out of it. Now, the oil-free moisturizer seems to be promoted mostly for people that have oilier skin, and it is $42. But I found it to be a good product for me for use during the day. And some of the ingredients in this include squalane, glycerin, niacinamide, and coconut derivatives. And so I did use up a whole bottle of that. It comes in a pump, which I think is nice, and I would be willing to use that again. I think it's a good product. And they also have a multivitamin serum, and this is a moisturizing, hydrating type serum. And the ingredients in this include sodium hyaluronate, glycerin, and then apple fruit extract and some other fruit extracts, as well as vitamin B, vitamin E, vitamin C, and the vitamin C I think is mostly from Kakadu plum. And this is $52. And at first I was skeptical about this because it comes in a roller bottle. But when I took the roller bottle off and I dumped it into a pump bottle, I realized I really like this one a lot. And so I definitely am just about ready to finish up the entire bottle of that. And I would be willing to use that again. I liked it a lot. The Hippie Stick is a moisturizer that I think is most appropriate for use on the body. It says that you can use it everywhere, but I think that it's probably better for the body, or at least for my body, than my face. And so the oils that are in here include sunflower oil, coconut oil, castor oil, cocoa butter, shea butter, and squalene. So it's very soft, and so it comes in a stick that you can push up like this, and I have used just about this whole stick. It smells wonderful to me. It has lavender oil and orange oil and spearmint oil in it, and I do really, really like the way that it smells, and I think that if I use it on my body, it's probably okay. I don't think that those oils would be good for me to put on my face, but I think that a lot of people do really, really like this, and largely because of the smell and also because of the texture. It is very soft, and I do think it's very hydrating. The Miracle Cream is another product that I'm a little bit ambivalent about because it does work really, really well in the dead of winter on my super dry skin. And so if I use that even one day, sometimes it can really turn around my skin and make it feel like I don't have a dry skin problem anymore. And so the ingredients that are in this include some shea butter, glycerin, sunflower oil, and avocado oil. But I think that the main ingredient in this that is really helpful is the hydrogenated vegetable oil, which is a little bit like the texture of Crisco. And so that one does also have some citrus oils in it, smaller amounts, I think, of orange peel oil and grapefruit peel oil. And so I think that it's really not great for me to put any of those oils on my skin, but if I do it once in a while during the winter, I feel like my skin can kind of tolerate the essential oils, and that the moisturizing component in that particular product makes it worth it. And I haven't found anything else on the market that quite has that texture or is quite as effective with regard to relieving super dry, parched skin. And so the price for that one is $42, and I do still use it occasionally during the winter. And then they also have a light moisture cream, and this is really designed for more oily skin. And so the ingredients in this include niacinamide, panthenol, glycerin, macadamia oil, shea butter, and then it has orange peel oil in it. And then there is this product, which is called the Oil Stick, and it is $28, and it's designed for on the go. So it's about this size, and so you have to make sure you take this plastic thing off the top of this. And so it's like a very thin oil that has in sort of like gel form in here. And so it comes up like this. And so the oils that are in this include coconut alkane, and then what they say is a quartet of high-performance oils, including apricot, jojoba, rosehip, and sunflower. And they say that it is similar to the skin's natural oils. And all of that is well and good, but it also does have a lot of fragrance-type ingredients in it. So it didn't used to list just fragrance. It used to just list natural essential oil type things, but now it actually lists unspecified fragrance, citral, citronello, geraniol, limonene, and linalool. And so I don't know exactly what it smells like now. I didn't used to object to the smell at all, and that's the one that I have is the older version. But in general, because it lists fragrance and because it has all of those natural processed scents in that, I am not interested in that one. And then the rest of the products are ones that I'm not interested in either. So the Everyday Sunscreen, that is listed as a mineral sunscreen, but it also has butyloctyl salicylate and ethyl ferulate in it. And so those are chemical sunscreens that have not been approved as chemical sunscreens, but that nonetheless are functioning in the same way, and those are very irritating to my skin. And there's a cleansing stick for $36, and fragrance on that one is the fourth ingredient, so that seems like a lot of fragrance to me. And it also has phenoxyethanol, citrol, citronellol, geraniol, limonene, and linalool in it. And there is a soft skin cream cleanser for $30, and that one also lists unspecified fragrance. And there's a shower gel that also lists unspecified fragrance, and that one also has cocamidopropyl. Betaine is the first ingredient after water, so that is a surfactant that would be really drying to my skin. And so that is $36 for that, and I thought that that has a fragrance in it that is like their shower fragrance, and so a lot of people do like that fragrance. And so if you're looking for a shower gel, I think that this one is probably fine. It's just that I really only like bar soap. And then finally we can talk about tools, and so I do recommend this pencil sharpener. It has two different holes. One is for the face pencils and the brow pencils, and then the other ones are for like lip pencils and eye pencils. And I think that this has been really terrific, and I use this all the time, and I bought several of them, and I do like the fact that it has this little lid on it so that it's not as messy, and it's held up pretty well for me, and so I just have continued to use this for all my Jones Road products and certain other products as well. And then I also really like this little spatula, and I suspect that they developed this specifically for the What the Foundation. And I think that especially if you're going to use that product and you're not going to transfer some of it into another container, that this one is particularly good because you can dip it out without putting your fingers in it. But if you're using other kinds of products that are in jars, I think this is very good for that also. And for whatever reason, I seem to be less likely to lose a little spatula like this that's all metal than I am something that's plastic that just comes with some of the other products that I'm using. And then in terms of brushes, I actually really like the Jones Road brushes, and I think that in terms of the quality that they actually may be a bit better than the BK Beauty brushes, or at least I think that the quality is just as good. They are made in Italy, and I do think in terms of the brush quality and also in terms of the design, I think that a lot of these are really, really good. And so the one that I use the most, that I feel the most enthusiastic about, is the eyeliner brush. And so this is a really, really high quality brush, and I think it's a very good shape and size for me to use to blend out the eyeliner that I'm putting on, or for me to use in a palette and to pick it up and just put it on right around the edges of my eyes. I think that this is held up really well for me, and I really use it almost every day. And I only have this one, and so I'm thinking maybe I should buy a second one just to have so that I can wash this one or if I misplace it. And it is a bit thicker, so if I'm using the gel eyeliner, then I think it's really too big for that. But I think that for most eyeliner that I'm putting on that I want it to be just a little bit smudgy, this is just about ideal. Now what I will say is that the eyeliner brush that is attached to the Sarah Creel pencil is very similar to this, and I will be interested to see how well that holds up. But in general, if you are going to buy a Sarah Creel eyeliner, then you may have a brush that's very similar to this. Another brush that I really like is the blush brush. Now the one that I got in a travel kit, and so it has a really short handle, but I think that the brush part of it is the same, and I think as a blush brush, I think that this has been really terrific. And I think this one actually won Best Blush Brush Award from Allure like 2 years in a row, which seems kind of crazy, but I do really, really like it myself. I also really like this brush, which is called the Everything brush, and it is $44. And I am a big person that likes to put on various makeup and then just kind of buff it in, and I think that this is ideal for that. I think that you might be able to buy a brush that does sort of the same thing like the ones from Merit that are not quite as expensive, but I do really like this one, and I have gotten a lot of use out of it. Now, personally, I do have very small eyes, and they are hooded, and so I really think a small brush works a lot better for me for applying eyeshadow than a larger brush. And so the one that is from Jones Road that is called the Eye Detail brush, this one has worked really, really well for me. And I think it's quite similar to the BK Beauty 207 brush in terms of the size and in terms of the quality. And so I think either one of these might be a good choice for people that do have smaller eyes. And this one is $24, the one from Jones Road. So I think that's a reasonable price. And they have an eye blending brush, and this one is fairly small, and I do like that about it. And the one that I got was from the travel kit, but I think that the head for the regular brush is the same size. And so I think that a little small brush like this for blending can work well with my eyes too. Now they do have this larger brush that is called the Eye Fluffy brush, and I really think that this one is too big for my eyes, but I haven't really used it very much for this, but I think that I'm going to start using this to try to blend in face pencils and face concealers, and because I think that this is a brush that is firm enough to do that, and that I can easily get into like these little areas around my nose. And so I have now been inspired to start using this brush a bit more, because I don't think that it's really properly labeled as being an eye fluffy brush, at least for me. And then there's also a detail brush, and again, this is one that you could use to try to blend things on your face for concealer and for other areas that just need a little bit of really fine detail work. And then this eyebrow brush, that is what I put on my gel eyeliner today, and I do think it's a little bit too thick to be ideal for that. And I do want to buy one of those precision brushes, but those are not in stock at the moment when I look on the Jones Road site. But I will buy that when it comes back into stock, I think. And then I have this brush, which is a bronzer brush, and it is quite large, and it's interesting because it's oblong, and these bristles are kind of flexible, and so I think it's been okay for use with the Jones Road bronzer or other bronzers. I think that there is the bronzer brush from Sephora Pro Collection, which is really, really large. I think that that one is actually kind of nice to put on bronzer like all over my face. And I think that for the way that I use the Jones Road bronzer, which is sort of as a blush but broader, a little bit broader than I would use a blush, I think that this is actually quite good for that. And then the other brushes that I don't have are the face powder brush, and I actually did just order that one, and the powder puff, and I just ordered that one as well. And then there's one that's called the Daily brush, and I think they actually sent that one to me when they sent me some sunscreen, and so I need to dig that one out and give it a try. So thank you very much for watching all the way to the end of the video, and if you have tried out any Jones Road products so far, then please do let us know how those have worked out for you. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then I hope you will do that, and if you liked the video, then I hope you will hit like, and I do hope to see you in my Facebook group. We would really enjoy that, and Coco and I do love you very much, and so thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.